Once upon a time in a kingdom far, far away, there lived a beautiful princess who was known throughout the land for her kindness and grace. She had everything she could ever want, including a handsome prince who loved her dearly and a magic carpet that could take her anywhere she wished to go. But the one thing the princess didn't have was a pair of red shoes to match her beautiful red hair. Now, the princess had tried everything to get her hands on a pair of red shoes. She searched high and low, but all she could find were shoes that were either too big or too small, too fancy or too plain. She even went to the magic carpet's cave where all the genies lived, but they couldn't help her either. All they offered her were shoes made out of clouds or shoes made out of stars. But the princess wanted something simple, just a pair of nice red shoes. Oh, how she wished upon a star that she would find the perfect pair of red shoes. And as if by magic, her wish was granted. A small package appeared in her hands, and when she opened it, she found the most beautiful pair of red shoes she had ever seen. They were made out of pure gold and had tiny bells at the toes that jingled as she walked. The princess was so happy. She put them on and twirled around the room, making the bells jingle. But then she heard a voice. "Beware, princess, for these shoes are cursed." The princess stopped in her tracks. "Cursed? What do you mean?" The shoes began to shake and the bells started to rattle. "Whoever wears these shoes will lose their voice. You have until sunset to break the curse or the shoes will steal your voice forever." With that, the shoes flew off her feet and hid under her bed. The princess was so scared. She didn't want to lose her voice. She thought about what the shoes had said. Whoever wore them would lose their voice. Maybe if she didn't wear them, the curse wouldn't activate. But when she tried to pick them up, the shoes began to glow and the room filled with smoke. "I'm trapped," she cried out. But no sound came out. She tried again, but the shoes were stuck to the floor. Then an idea popped into her head. Maybe she could trick the shoes. If she pretended to be asleep, maybe they wouldn't know she was in the room. So she lay down on her bed and closed her eyes. The shoes started to shake again, and the bells rattled, but the princess didn't move. She stayed still as a statue. The shoes floated closer to her face. She could feel their hot breath on her skin. Then she heard a voice. "Oh, no, she's asleep. Hurry, let's take her voice before she wakes up." The shoes started to move again, but this time they were heading towards the closet. The princess peeked over the bed and watched as the shoes jumped into the closet and disappeared. She quickly got up and ran over to the closet. She opened the door and looked inside. There were all sorts of magical things in there, but no shoes. Then she heard a giggle and the sound of jingling bells. She looked down and saw the shoes on her feet. The curse had taken her voice, but she wasn't going to let it defeat her. She remembered all the times she had used her voice to help others, the animals, the villagers, even the genies. She missed her voice terribly, but she knew she had to be brave. She took a deep breath and started to walk towards the window. As she did, she heard the shoes start to shake. They wanted to stop her, but she wouldn't let them. She walked right through the window and onto the ledge. Below her, the ground seemed very far away, but she didn't care. She was too busy thinking about all the good she could do without a voice. Maybe she could help the animals even more now that she didn't need to talk to them. Maybe she could use sign language to communicate with people. Maybe she could become a better princess without her voice. And as she thought these thoughts, the shoes started to glow. They had never felt so much power before. They tried to make her fall, but she held on tight. Finally, the shoes gave up and stopped glowing. They had lost all their power. They had never met a princess who didn't want to use her voice. And that's why, my little friends, the princess was never seen wearing red shoes again. She became known throughout the land as the bravest princess who had ever lived. And that's the end of our story.